She will waste time on elementary talk. 'Cause she's a terrible Disney fox. She's a horrible Disney fox. Got the world eating shit out of a popcorn movie box.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
Hi.
What a wonderful day it is today in our money-based economy. Sit back and relax and get ready for the guy who's about to ruin everything.
I'm puzzled. Are you really seriously suggesting that Jesus Christ was a mushroom?
Wayne, Jesus was a mushroom Roberts.
Yes. You are dealing with a secret cult, a secret society.
Welcome to Waning Interest.
Welcome to the Waning Interest podcast, number uno ocho, July 29th, 2023. The babbling dabbler, the smallest click on the internet, the pinball brain in your favorite machine. It's like a diary or a book, but not as stale or coherent in a world where laughter was king. From a more mentally challenged Forrest Gump. Or if Mikey and Mouth from the Goonies played a lot of bareback leapfrog, and then a few months later, or if Bill Hicks, Neil Rogers, Doug Stanhope, Richard Pryor, Bill Burr, Phil Hendry, Ron Bennington, Terrence McKenna, and a whole bunch of others had a day-long gangbang with Joan Rivers or Roseanne Barr. The Wayness oozed out about 3.5 months later. I think that's what the doctor said. It wasn't really a doctor. It was more of a shaman, which is the OG doctor. That's what I say. Yo. Hey, did you ever see the Patreon page? You know, there's a whole bunch of links in every description of every podcast. There's the links to every other where they are. Every other where. Yes, this is where we make up words. This is it. This is the place. There's a bunch of other places, but definitely check out the Patreon page because, you know, whips are good and whips can make the quality of this podcast better, even though it really can't be topped with the budget that I have. Budget, it always makes me laugh because it's like it's more like I've always worked more on a micro budget to where it's like, wait, if it's a micro budget, then it's not even a fucking budget. We're just working with what we got. It's like GNR in their Hell House, or Leonard Skinner in their Hell House, or Robbie, Ray, John, and Jim up in Robbie's parents' place in the Pacific Palisades where everything was badass. Wait, one of those doesn't fit. No. 2 of them don't fit. Anyway, where was I? When? I don't know. Oh, speaking of the Doors, and the Patreon page, I just came a little while ago. I'm not finished. Wait, does that mean he's still coming? Or he's not finished with his sentence? Shh. If I was on the right page, I would hit if I was on the right page, I would hit the Lisa chuckle. You know, like, but I don't know where it is at the moment, so it's just. But now I'm worried that it didn't actually go through on the video version, so you might as well. No, I didn't say that. You stupid son of a bitch, you did the wrong button. And now the timing's all fucked up because it should have been a lot more hot. When I say hot, wait, now we're back to coming, aren't we? That worked out a little bit better, but still, what the? It's like the timing just keeps getting worse and worse, and the lighting gets weirder and weirder for the video version. I know most whips, and for some reason, enjoy the audio version more, and for some reason, I understand why. But with the video version, I do have a lot of cool pics, and like right now, I have the actual thumbnail for Whip 118. But I will be putting up the separate pics that are in that thumbnail. Hold on, let me remove this. Please, hold on 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Remove this from studio so it doesn't get in my way no more. Thank you very much. Oh my gosh, this makes it so much easier, doesn't it? Oh, you wouldn't know? Of course you wouldn't. You're just sitting there going, keep talking, douche. All right. So speaking of... wait a minute. I just left the right page to see. Okay, is that cool? That's cool. Oh, yeah. Update. We've changed our name. As you can see if you're doing the video thing or you see the thumbnail. The band that used to be called Whiskey Woman is now called The Lords. And we got the logo. Pretty cool. Coming to a dive bar or backyard party in southern Maine soon. And maybe New Hampshire. I thought it was cool. Because it's got, it looks just like the Doors logo, but it says Lords, and of course, a lot of people aren't going to get it. You got to be a hardcore Doors. Kind of like you have to be a hardcore Skynyrd fan to know that, wait, what? Ronnie Van Zant was always barefoot on stage almost? Almost always barefoot? What? With the Doors, with that reference, it's like a lot of people don't know that Jim had published a book called The Lords and the New Creatures of his poetry. And there was another one too, right? Yeah, but that's not the point. Lords and the New Creatures. So, and it was Steve, our John Densmore, his idea, and he had a buddy of his do up the logo, and bam, boom, zam, ding, dong, a bapa choo a cuck, a gotcha choo a bop bop boom, whatever. The point is that, and also that I went in the place where sometimes we rehearse in my own hell house here at the Waning Interest Podcast compound in the garage. But normally we rehearse at a place that's a restaurant that's open except for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays, and every other Tuesday we rehearse there besides here. It's nice because they're all set up or whatever, and the guys from the band, all those guys, they know the owner, and that's why we get that gig, and it's nice. So I'd never actually been in the fucking place when it's open. And Flash, keyboard player, Ray, he has a bunch of stuff that he does, and one of them is a trio, and the sax player and a drummer. And he was playing tonight there, and I was like, oh, I'm going to fucking just walk in there while it's actually open to see what it's like while it's open. And, and see Flash and see what they got. Really cool. Lots of people having dinner, just fucking loving it. A lot of Billy Joel, Steely Dan, a few other oldies. And then there's this lady talking to me and sitting next to me and bought me a, what the hell was it? She bought me a shot. I'm like, no, please don't, but okay, there it is. All right, I'll drink it. While she's talking to me, because her mom was sitting next to her and her sister, and I thought her mom was somebody that I knew. So I was like, hey, what? Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought you were Ruth. Sorry. And then, of course, gabbing. So while I'm talking to her, I don't realize that Flash starts going into a Doors tune and tells me to get up on stage. And all of a sudden, I start hearing Wayne, like, what? And Flash, between songs, is always making jokes. So people are saying my name, and I was like, what's going on? What? And I'm like, wait, and I'm sweating because it's really warm in there. And I'm like, wait, no, he's kidding. No, he's kidding. No, he's kidding. Well, I'm still listening to her, and I'm patting my fucking head, and I just keep saying something. What? No. Oh, I thought you were kidding. Then I got to laugh because he had always been kidding. I'm like, no, keep going. And he went and did Love Me Two Times with those guys. And then later on did Riders on the Storm, and the same thing where I was apparently preoccupied and didn't get the signal. And then nah, I'm not doing that. No, you do it. Yeah, I was actually enjoying Flash. I was actually enjoying listening to him sing the Doors tunes because I was so used to me doing it while he's playing. So it was kind of nice to be listening to something different and listen to him do it, even though, of course, he does some backup stuff with a bunch of the songs. Anyway, then later on, some people wanted him to do Love Me Two Times again, and he's like, we did it, all right. And then he said my name again. All right, fuck it, I'm going up there. And man, I wish I'd had a towel. And the sax player hands me the fucking mic, and I'm like, nah, I don't like to hold the mic while I sing. Only if I'm doing stand up. But I started because they'd already started in the song, and I was already going. But I had to go find his stand, and go, hey, wait, stick it in there because I have to be still, and my eyes have to be closed, and I have to be watching Jim in my head. And that's the best way I can sound as close as I can, because I don't like hearing Doors tunes when people don't sound like Jim. I don't like it. So the closer you sound, the better I like it. And of course, the band has to be good, and usually those are. That's the tribute bands that I've seen. I've always liked the music. I just don't like the Jim guys, and I don't get dressed. There's no thing where I'm getting dressed up and doing all the act. I'll do a few moments like Jim, but that's it. And then it's just me. But during the vocal part, not singing, that's insulting singers calling myself a singer. But the vocals, I have to have my eyes closed. That's one of the reasons I wear shades when I sing, just so people can't see that my eyes are closed. And but I didn't have my shades tonight. I opened my eyes at one point just to realize that's right. Because the way he had his mic stand, it was facing this way, and I kept trying to turn it, so I did have to open my eyes. And at one point, I opened my eyes to make sure I was actually facing the fucking crowd, not the wall. And I see two old ladies holding their phones up, going, I'm like, what the fuck? So I started pointing at them. Stop that. That was funny. What else? What did we do? We did, we did Love Me Two Times. When he said he had already done it, but we did it again. Well, he did it again with me. And then I, put my hands on all the other players, because that's what you do. You put your hands on people because, you want to get restraining orders. So I squeeze out of the spot where I was and start going back to the bar. And next thing you know, he's doing fucking dun, dun, dun. He starts doing fucking Alabama song. And I'm halfway there. I turn around and people are yelling my name again. And I turn around, I'm like, what? And he goes, what? Are you going to do this? I'm like, I didn't know that. So I had to go squeeze back through the keyboard and everything. And then we did Alabama song. And I let him take the high notes because I just wasn't ready. I hadn't done my exercises. That was rude. But anyway, we did that. It was a fucking blast. And because it was only 2 songs, I didn't have to worry about doing too much. And could not fucking wait to get back to my fucking beer because I was so thirsty. And how many napkins you got back? What can you stop giving? Can you just give me a towel? Because normally I actually do bring a towel with me with all my shit, my mic and my cords, my wires, my stand. I don't have a P. That's one of the reasons we do the rehearsal there, because they have a set up everything with PA. Most of it, yeah, it's almost all there. So anyway, that was fun. That's what I just came from. But during that, it was funny because while I was trying to keep the one person that was talking to me a bunch, just so I didn't have to, I was texting back and forth with somebody who had sent me some stories, some WIOD stories that were posted apparently somewhere on a Facebook page years ago, and I think that's where I must have seen them there, and I know somebody posted something where a few years ago where I saw something again, and wait, I recognize this, and then anyway, I asked that motherfucker, where is it? Right there, motherfucker. I asked Adam if he wanted to be on the whip, but what did I have written? Oh, that's right. I asked him if he wanted to be on. But he can't because he's in prison. I'm kidding. He's still out there stealing from people. Always will be, in a world where laughter was king. That's not true either. He won't come on because there's no chance he'll be the best looking on the podcast. So he chose not to be. He chose to be here in writing because that's what people like him do. Man, that almost rhymed with Jew. That's funny because people think I don't like Jews, and the word, that anti-word thing, that doesn't even work. That doesn't even make sense, because if you do your homework on that word, that's what people think, because I don't have a problem making Jewish jokes, racial jokes, not racist jokes, racial jokes. There's a difference. Because we're all races. I don't have a fucking problem when people make fucking WAP jokes. I call myself a WAP. I'm most Italian. I don't give a shit. I make fucking, what else am I? A little English. Yeah, fucking make fun of them. Yeah, a bunch of, I got the good teeth somehow. Fuck those motherfuckers too. All of everybody. And the biggest racists in the world actually seem to be the, because everybody else is a Gentile. So who's the racist really? And seriously, who gives a fuck? Because there's dickheads all the way at the top, and there's dickheads all the way at the bottom, and they come in all colors and races and religions. Weird, huh? But, there is that one that... Anyway. No, but just because, Adam's Jewish, that's not why he decided not to be on the whip, because some people, just because I say certain things about a certain government that is certainly shitty, if you just look at the fucking facts, has nothing to do with whatever race, religion, whatever they're behind, because that's not really who's running the government. We know that. Everybody in all these governments are corporate twats, except for, places, those ones that don't side with the U.S. and where most of their populations are a lot fucking happier and got a lot better. Whatever. Are we keeping our eye on this corporate hellhole? This place, it's so great. Yeah, this is oh my God. And all the places that our corporate news says that are bad, actually look into those places and holy shit, that was pretty cool. Wow, these people are happy. They got pretty cool shit. Anyway, what are we doing? When? Why? Oh, it's about the Jews. No, it's not about the Jews, just because this is also about Neil Rogers. WIOD. Oh, run by Jews? Yeah, of course. All of Miami radio was run by Jews, right? This is called sarcasm, YouTube. In a world where laughter was king. It was Hal Douglas Jewish? He was a voice guy who was known for that. From a Jewish movie trailer. Comedian. Jerry Seinfeld. One of the greatest fucking movie trailers ever because it had absolutely nothing to do with the fucking movie. It's just the recording of the trailer guy doing not in a world. Yeah, I've talked about it many times. I've also talked about Neil many times. I've also talked about Adam many times. Gosh, there's a lot of Catholicism going on here. It actually has nothing to do with anything. Those are just side jokes for funny that I know Adam is probably chuckling at and also going, what? Neil would be laughing. But, people are looking for him to interview them on the radio, even though he's been dead for over a decade. Hilarious shit. Where was I going with this? Oh. So yeah, back in the day, there was a Facebook page that I think I was a part of for about 2 days. It was a Neil Rogers WIOD page or whatever, and Adam had posted some really good stories or whatever, and then I think I'd read a couple of them, but then I couldn't stand all the other stuff that was going on, and I bounced out. And later on, I think somebody had posted some of those stories, and I saw them somewhere else. I'm like, oh, that's right, yeah, that's right. Oh, these are fucking funny. But he's got a few things wrong, maybe. But just hilarious writing, good stuff. And Adam was to back the whole thing up. The WIOD, but Adam was one of the people that trained me. He was when I started. He was Rick and Sud's producer in the mornings. But previously, he had been Randy Rhodes' producer at night. When she was on at night, Randy Rhodes from Air America, not the guitar player, the radio host who still does something or whatever. And some of the stories are about her. You'll learn about her a bit. And but before, he started as a promotions guy, I believe. We'll get to the stories, but it went on. He did stuff in his progression, and then there's a story I think I've told before here on the Whip about when he was after Randi. A stand-up comic named Chris Baker. I think he's part of isn't that part of the fucking the thumbnail? Yeah, Baker's in there. Baker's on the thumbnail. Yeah, he's with the shades there on the one on the left all by himself. He was the one at night. He took over the nights for a little while before they went and got Passion Phones. But while they had Baker, I was still in radio school at night, and there was I told the story before, where we used to get the radio and records R&R magazine at our school, and I used to go through it. It was a weekly or bi-weekly or something. And just to look, absorb what the hell was going on with radio, whatever, and all of these places that was going on. And at the back of the magazine, there was always this place where it said on the beach, and it meant people who didn't have a gig and looking for gigs, and it had a thing there. And I noticed with my buddy Eric, who had gotten me into IOD at the time, and I went, dude, look at this. Look at what this says. A comedian currently doing nights on Major Talker in Miami seeks new gig. Is that Chris Baker? Isn't he a comic in nights, Major Talker? Isn't that IOD? And this where we were in radio school. And he goes, that's got to be. And Neil used to trash Chris, and Chris wasn't that bad, but Neil trashed a lot of people. So I had the idea of, hey, I'm gonna call into Neil and read this to him, see if he's seen it. And Eric was like, yeah, do that. So at school, I went into one of the other rooms and called IOD while Neil was on the air from 10 to 2 during the day, and actually got to me. This is way before, of course, I've got my gig. I'm just in school. And he actually goes to me on the air, and what did I say? I don't know where I said I was, but Miami, whatever. And hello, and I heard the little. I realized I was on the air. I go, Neil? What I was looking through the R&R. And which was fun. And I read him the ad, and he thought it was funny and thought it must be Baker, and said a whole bunch of funny stuff during the call. And then that night, Eric and I came up with the idea of we might as well call Baker on the air. And Adam was his producer at the time, but he didn't know who I was. And Eric was listening, and I told him, and I called in, and then I read the whole thing in this 10 minutes, I think it was, where I went on and on with Baker going. He kept calling me a liar. I'm like, dude, I'm reading it right out of the R&R. Comedian currently doing nights on a Major Talker in Miami seeks new gig. Is that you? What the hell? He doesn't know who I am. I'm just a fucking caller. He just kept calling me a liar. He told Adam to go get the fucking R&R at the station, and Adam comes on the air saying, no, man, I've got that same one. You're a liar. It doesn't say that here. Whatever, man. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And it just went on. And it wasn't, I don't know, a couple months later, I think Baker got replaced with Passion Phones. Aaron Summers. I got you down. And then I got my gig probably a month left. No, I got my gig way before Passion Phones. I got my gig when Baker was still there, and I was seeing him because I was coming in to train on the overnights, and he was the last show at night, so before the overnight. So I actually met the fucking guy. I kind of felt bad, but I didn't say anything until he was gone. Wasn't stupid, And I also waited 30 years? It's been almost 1994. And how long was it? I don't know how many months it was. It was quite a while. I got to know Adam. He lived across the street. Hung out with him over there with a bunch of other guys. Got my hair cut over there. The lady that used to cut Neil's hair came over and cut our hair in his apartment. We hung out a few times, and I don't know how long it was. I don't know. I think it was over a year. And then I was his backup on Rick and Suds, and it was after that. So it was over a year I'd known him, and I had to tell him, hey, remember that Chris Baker thing? Remember that guy called in saying that he saw that ad in the R&R? Like, yeah, that was me. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Holy shit, he was shitting his pants. I was like, wait. when you came on the air saying that you had the R&R, the same R&R that I had that same week, when you said it wasn't there, was it there? Yeah, it was there, but I couldn't say it on the air. I was like, ah. It was fucking hilarious. He pooped his panties again because apparently I made him poop their panties. It's so funny because at the time when I did that and I made that call, and then boom, they hang up on me, and then I'm just home, and then of course I call my buddy Eric up. I go, dude, did you hear that? Yeah, and then we shooting the shit on the phone for I don't know another 2 hours about it, laughing. But then of course I get my gig there a few months later, and I remember sitting there all by myself in that control room, realizing, wait a minute. This is where Adam was sitting when he was saying that shit, and I was called. That's the phone he answered. And oh my God. And it was a while before I actually was just sitting there, bored because by yourself, you're running tape. I hadn't been thinking about it. I was just so enamored with everything being so big and like, holy shit, I'm actually at IOD. Wow. But then it was a few weeks before I was like, wait a minute. Holy shit. This is where Adam was saying, no, man, this is the microphone. He said that to me. And that's my microphone now. Whoa. It's really trippy, The whip, is about, what is it? What's that word? Synchronicity. That's right. Synchronicities. Fuck. Man, I couldn't think of the lady's name earlier today. Ruth. I just said Ruth. You remind me of my friend. It took me like fucking 2 minutes. Ruth! You remind me of Ruth, ma'am. Then she's like, who? What? When? Boy, she was drunk. Anyway. Good thing she was gone when I started singing because she would have been hooting and hollering and it would have been kind of scary. So, the Baker thing, Chris. Oh, and yeah, Adam, and just being in at that control board. Go, holy fuck, holy shit! This is where part of that happened. It was right there. This is where I called in. And, when you place yourself in that spot, and you know what I'm saying. It's fucking trippy. It was neat. And I say all that stuff to get to these stories that Adam has written, and I don't know. I'm trying to lay the foundation. I don't know. I'm not that great at it because I'm a babbling fucking twat. You know that. That's what we're here for. Oh, that's what I want to add. Let's see. So you got that. The bigger pictures of the pics that are in the thumbnail. The handful that I throw in there. Neil, those carts. Geez, that cart rack. There's another 2 cart racks to his right. And there's a funny story where all of a sudden this memo went out from Steve Nickel, the program director, that Wayne was going to go through the studio and dust off all the carts, one by one, and all that stuff, and the CDs and all that shit, and I'm like, what? It was the first I was hearing about it on a memo. Like, he thought he had a meeting with me. We never had the fucking meeting, dude. So like, that was the first I learned about it. So then that was a story that went on the air where, and I told, of course, Neil and Phil, and they went on the air with it, just making fucking lots of fun about it. Fucking Steve Nickel. Wayne has no clue what you're talking about. And they knew I was telling the truth. They knew I wasn't fucking lying. Like, I never fucking talked to him about this shit. What the fuck? Is this a joke? I wouldn't have done that if it was. Oh God, they made that ran for a bit, and I was hoping to hear some of that with the dude that puts up the Neil shows on YouTube. When I've gone through those, there's not enough 1994 through 96 stuff, man. You got to get more of that. 94 through 97. I've always been hoping to find that in the ones that I've gone through. And I think I've gone through all those to try to find that the whole thing about dusting the whole studio. What do you tell? I ended up doing it. I fucking did it. But It was the first I heard about it when the memo came out. What? What is this? What the fuck? What? And that cart rack, if you're watching the video cast, that cart rack that he's pulling a cart from, that dude, a caller would say, blah, 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 I want to hear. And then he would just turn, spin that thing, and pull that rack and go right into that cart machine and hit play. Bang! It was really cool to watch. That's why I put that picture up that I found. And the stories that I'm about to read from Adam, which are hilarious, and he's watching this going, dude, are you going to get to my shit yet? This is a picture from an appearance that put in your head of what it was like, what Adam's going to be describing. Sometimes, well, there's one story where there was nobody, but there, Neil attracted some crowds. Uncle Neil, fucking funny son of a bitch. And there's a bigger picture with Baker and Rick and Suds and Phil, Neil, and Defoe. That's right, Sports Talk 6 to 8. Jeff DeForest. He was fun to talk to. Man, he told me a cocaine story about him and his brother. Oh, sorry, Jeff. Hilarious. Something about I'm not going to talk about hookers. I just made that up, seriously. That was a joke about that. There was a cocaine story, but it had nothing to do with hookers. The funniest, I think it was something about they were up like 3 days straight, and all of a sudden knock on their door, and their parents showed up. Like, what? Hi, came to visit. What? They've been up for 3 days. Anyway, that was funny. I was like, oh, these cocaine stories, learning from these older people. It smells weird. Oh, that was awful, Wayne. Anyway, there are those pictures. What else? What else did I want to do? I just want to make sure I get through this shit and get rid of it so I don't go fucking up, because I got a lot of reading to do pretty quick. It's going to be funny, and I'm trying to keep this to 90 minutes, because that's always better. And these stories are fucking hilarious. Adam's a pretty good writer. I've talked about him before, and I've shown pictures of him before. Great fucking producer, man. I tell you what, it really didn't matter, because Ron and Ron were getting killed anyway. They were getting murdered by Paxson and Clear Channel. It's a slow downfall. It didn't matter what we did, but I'll say that. But he wasn't going to leave Rick and Suds. But when Ron and Ron needed a new producer, one of the perfect guys would have been fucking Adam. He was really good. And you'll know just from the stories that I read, and these few that I have first, and he's going to be sending more. The ones that are involved with the Wayness, where the Wayness is involved, or at least gets a mention. Those are the most important ones, but he hasn't showed me or sent those yet. Ding. What is this? This is new, a new J. Cool company called Stoner & Co. I think co means company. Shut up. Fucking douche. What the hell was the name of this? Where's the thing? It had a great name, that's why I bought it. Was it the Was it only on the fucking wrapper that I ripped off and threw away? Man, what was the name of this shit? That's why I fucking pulled it up and wanted to show you. I've done wasted fucking 60 seconds of this wonderful Oh, there it is. No, that ain't either. What the hell is the name of this J? This is bullshit. It was only on that little wrapper. That's fucked up. Anyway, I was going to let you know, but we don't do ads on the whip. the name is cool, and their logo is cool. Let me get to the right page. That's a pretty cool logo. I think. Where were we? Over here, you fuckhead. Ma! So, oh, that's right. The Adam thing is totally different. Fucking. Oh, did you see the Lord's? By the way, did I put up the Lord's logo, the full one? Did I do that? I know it's part of the thumbnail. Look at that shit. Pretty cool. Lords and New Creatures. That's the reference. I talked about it earlier, I know, but I don't know if I didn't think I put the actual. I'd put up a few seconds of a rehearsal, but every time I do, what the fuck, dude? Copyright strike on 45 seconds of a cover band. I don't see copyright strikes on other people's YouTube pages and videos where they play fucking music and other people's shit all the time. I don't see that shit. What the fuck, man? What am I doing wrong? I don't get it. I keep trying to do everything right, and you keep pissing in my face. Man, fucking fuck. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's because of Stoner and Company. Well, fuck you. You need to... Well, we know what the deal is. We know what the fucking deal is. That's why I'm also on Rumble. There's a link in the description everywhere you look. And if you're listening or watching the Waning Interest podcast, there's a link for other places in the description. Ever told you about the Patreon page, Become a Whip? $2 a month? Pretty fucking cheap. See, now every one of my videos gets copywritten, stricken, and I don't do ads. Probably didn't play right, did it? Did it play right? I don't know. Bullshit. Anyway, what was I saying? Adam, yeah, great producer. He is. He was a fucking fantastic producer. Rick and Suds, we're very lucky to have him. All the three producers the three guys that trained me: Adam, Andy Calb, who was Phil Hendry's producer, and George Rodriguez, of course, who was Neil Rogers' producer. He's one of the reasons why I'm so fucking tidy. I was a tidy person before, but George helped me be even more tidy. Those three guys were the shit. They were the fucking shit. It wasn't just the guy. They were the part of the reason why the station was such a fucking killer station. Wait a minute, let me put that back up. Right? It was such a fucking killer station. It wasn't just because of the people on the air. The people behind it were fucking badasses. Adam was fucking fantastic fucking producer, dude. He was in early, getting everything tidy, everything. But you can't help it when, you got people like Rick Riley being at whatever. I didn't say shit. George had it made because he was so tidy and did everything absolutely spot on. Neil never shit on him. There was no need to. Except for him, being a fucking spick. That's what he said. I'm just telling you. In a world where laughter was king. That's what Neil called him. George didn't care. He called him a Jew. I didn't care. Big deal. Look, that's what you are. Oh my God. I'm not crying. Stop crying. Fuck off. You Harry. What was it? One of my favorite Italian jokes that I ever read. It was one of those things. My mom, I got a hold of it because it was back when she worked in offices back in the 80s. And before email, those jokes that got passed around the office, they were done on the thing. And there was this list of jokes as one-liners. And one of them was, how do you get an Italian woman pregnant? come in her shoes and let the flies do the rest. I didn't get it, of course, for a long time. And then I knew I was Italian. And then when I finally got it, I laughed my ass off. You know why? Because a Jewish person was with me. I don't know. So fucking stupid. Where were we? What was I saying? Something about coming in somebody's shoes. Did I ever tell you the Terry Weigel story? Oh, George, Neil, whatever. Yeah, and Andy Kalb was Phil Hendry's producer, who was the executive producer, who was like the overseer of all the producers. When I was hired, he was fucking... Phil wanted him to come all the way, go out to L.A. with him when he left. But Premiere didn't want to pay what Andy wanted because Andy's Jewish. It's true. It's true. That's not a racist joke. It's a racial joke. And it's also a true story. Andy's Jewish. Premiere didn't want to pay him what he wanted, and he said no. It's all the same. So anyone whining, fuck you, because I don't care about... I know more about fucking Passover than most Jewish people that I've met, because I've been to Passover dinner. Hey, did you know that Metallica Creeping Death, if you read the lyrics and you go to Passover dinner, you'll be like, holy shit, it's the same thing. And Metallica's not even Jewish. But they gave a shout out to that moment in history. Who knows if it's real? Because Jesus Christ, all these fucking moments of fucking history, oh my God, they're getting to the point where they're saying, you know what? Don't believe anything past the last 400 years. It's probably complete bullshit. Oh, the Dark Ages and all that stuff, 1,300 years or whatever the fucking the total was actually like a tenth of what they say, or all that. It's a fucking load of shit. Let's get to Adam's stories because he's crying about it. 47 minutes in, he's like, dude, I know you said I was a great producer, but get to my fucking stories. Yeah, I will, because I'm going to keep this to 90 minutes. I can't believe it's only 47. I thought I was babbling so fucking much. I was already at 2 hours. Whew. Weird weed. Stoner. Oh my God, what a cunt. Take 2. See, I call myself a cunt. So don't go fucking... he said something bad about Jewish people, but he said bad things about himself too. See, it doesn't make sense. You're a fucking dunce. The biggest... I'm the fucking punchline of almost every fucking... Not almost every, but most of the... I make fun of myself more than anybody else. That's why it's stupid when they make fun of me, and I'm like... I've already done it. It's kind of douchey. Oh, sorry. Stoner and Company. It's funny because I have former family with a similar name. That's hilarious. See? Synchronicities. Don't do the lisp thing because it offends people that have the lisp. Oh, you can't do a character. That's the brain. Listen. That's the brain with sports. Thank you, Fez Watley. Oh no, that's gonna have foam. Oh no, that's gonna make burpees. Oh, I can't do that. I gotta read some stories. I'm dragging this on. I'm making fucking Adam jerk his dick longer and longer until it's raw. It's like, dude, hurry up and read my story so I can come. Speaking of foam. Salty. Anyway. Oh, man, I gotta go back to the tea. I just don't like the stuff that has... I don't like the foam. It's, I don't like to have to take antacids because they don't go well with the stool softener. and the heart medicine and the I could go on, but I won't because it's a lie. Anyway, I get some great guests coming. You know what's weird? I'm not wearing a Junkyard T-shirt on a whip. I'm almost always wearing a Junkyard T-shirt on a whip. Just a little wink to who may be being a guest soon. Very, very, very soon. I was trying to time the wink with the burp, and it got stuck. Fucking hate carbonation. Also, my friend Claire. In a world where Claire finally shows up on the whip to educate a lot of people about ibogaine, she's going to be here soon. And maybe Bob Marley. Not only do I want you to go to the Winning Interest Podcast Patreon page, Patreon/Winning Interest. Go to the Bob Marley comedian page, Instagram or Facebook. Comment on his post about wanting to see him on the whip. I'm a Mainer. He's a Mainer. He's usually right down the road. You don't have to be in the studio. We could do it this way. And he's the perfect fucking guest. And you got to fucking follow him anyway, because his stories, the little fucking 2-minute things that he does every day or every other day, hilarious shit. Anyway, all right. No, we're not gonna talk about that later. All right. Finally, Adam, you ready? I'm about to read your stuff, but I gotta pee. So we got a best of. What is my best of? Oh yeah, to keep it with the WIOD, with the old radio stuff, by the earliest part of my entertainment career. Keep it with that something I found on one of the old Neil shows, so you actually get to hear some Neil. God damn it. Keeps going out. I'm just not sucking it frequently enough to keep it lit. That sounded weird. So, while I go pee, we'll hear a little bit of this, and then when we're back, we're going to read some really funny stories. And I have to pee, because if I don't pee first before I read these stories, I will literally fucking wet myself. There's actually a thing I remember where Neil actually references the story that I told last week, and so I grabbed it off of I grabbed it, and you'll see. And
to that, here's Roger's quote of the day. Wait a minute. Roger's quote of... Oh, I'm sorry, quote of the... Oh, thank God it ain't the quote of the day. Roger Crotch, our corporate sales hole, our plastic sales guy who's in the building, I understand. His quote of the day is, generosity is giving more than you can, and pride is taking less than you need. Which I think what he's trying to say is pride is working for Paxson, taking less than you need. Attaboy, Roger. Ask Wayne Roberts about that. Ask the people with their talent checks every month. Taking less than you need, less than you earned, less than you deserve. It's the Paxson way. Thank you very much, Roger. That's a nice silk suit you're wearing, too, by the way. All plastic people wear nice, expensive silk suits. 10:05 at WIOD.
It's so fucking good. So good. All plastic people. You trashing the general sales manager. Ah, so fucking awesome. Wonder why I'm the way I am. That was like my uncle. I get to work with, you're the coolest uncle. Just fucking get on here and trash him. And then, I gotta hear it again. Do you want to hear it again?
Oh, before we get to that, here's Roger's quote of the day. Wait a minute.
Crotch.
Roger's quote of... Oh, I'm sorry, quote of the... Oh, thank God it ain't the quote of the day. Roger Crotch, our corporate sales hole, our plastic sales guy who's in the building, I understand. His quote of the day is, generosity is giving more than you can, and pride is taking less than you need. Which I think what he's trying to say is pride is working for Paxson, taking less than you need. Attaboy, Roger. Ask Wayne Roberts about that. Ask the people with their talent checks every month. Taking less than you need, less than you earned, less than you deserve. It's the Paxson way. Thank you very much, Roger. That's a nice silk suit you're wearing, too, by the way. All plastic people wear nice, expensive silk suits. 10:05 at WIOD.
Oh, man. So awesome. So glad that I pulled that to play. I've talked so much about Neil on this podcast, and 110 of these. Should have done that earlier. So fucking hilarious. And we got more hilarity. Oh, we're only 56 minutes in. Oh, we got 33 minutes to go. Right? Something like that. Yeah. So anyway, all that build up. Am I leaving anything out? Am I leaving anything out? Yeah, I should probably hit the fucking J again. I'm gonna finish the, what the hell is this one? What was this one again? Oh, that's on the wrapper too that I pulled off. But it was from a different dispensary. Little half-gram J. They had a special. And I can't give up a deal. Because I learned from those, old Italian women. And the Jewish ones. See? Equal opportunity. You even left out the Ethiopians. We're making this up as we go. Anyway, here's one of Adam's stories. Oh, God, this is going to be fun to read. He's about to... Luckily, he's Jewish because he's circumcised, so he's not like, he would have come already if he wasn't. All those nerve endings, gone. Some people get that. Some people don't. Anyway. This story is back when he was before Chris Baker. He was Randy Rhoads' producer, which I mentioned earlier. And she ended up quitting because she was doing nights. She was considered the queen of the night, I guess. The female Neil Rogers, queen of the night, I think it was. And she wanted to do afternoons after Neil. And then Phil came in. She had the afternoons. Phil did nights, and then they flipped it to where put her back on at night and put Phil in the afternoon. She didn't want to go back to nights, and so she quit. And that's when Baker came in. So this story has to do with back when she was still on the air, Queen of the Night, right? Yeah. And it was before I even listened to WIOD. And but then I ended up listening to Randi when she was part of Air America in the mid to late 2000s. And I actually called in a few times to talk about 9/11, but they never put me through. True story. I'd be on the 405, sitting on the fucking 405, and you know what? I'm gonna waste some of these cell phone minutes. Fuck it. It's gross. Like, to tell the truth. Anyway. So here's Adam's first story out of, I think I've got 3 or 4. I think it's 4. And luckily they're not, Adam's not as much of a babbler as I am. He's more succinct, like a Jew. What? That was a compliment. He sounds racist. Fuck you. Eat a dick. Eat an uncircumcised dick. No, eat a circumcised dick. Fuck you. Eat the extra meat. Choke on it. Very often, the fine folks from Disney pay to have radio stations come broadcast live from their theme parks. It's usually as part of an advertising buy for some special thing they're doing, and stations usually take them up on it because the whole Gancha Mashbuka, a Neil term, Jewish term, from the station gets to go and take part in being treated like royalty by Disney hospitality. Free food, free stays at their nicest properties, tons of free merchandise, etc. Marketing-wise, they get it. They treat their media partners like gold because it's worth the weight of that gold when the broadcasters start talking about how amazing everything is. The term Mickey Mouse operation can be used for many, many organizations. The House of Mouse ain't one of them. Disney, between Turkey Day and New Year's, is an especially saccharine time of the year, sweet enough to cause tooth decay, what with all the decorations and happy holidays stuff going on. And it's a great time of year to promote that stuff. So the whole station got sent up there to do their shows on Friday from their Disney Studios booth, where many radio stations do their shows from a real radio studio inside the park, with double-pane glass looking out at the streets filled with Disney holiday revelers. Tons and tons of kids just in heaven, and parents loving the fact that they brought their kids to the happiest place in the world. God, it's so fucking gross. And the best part is Suds fucking hated Disney. Where am I? I gotta scroll down, sorry. Pause. You're right now, you're like the producer, the person running the board while I do the voiceover, which I'm doing a horrible job at. I'll get better as we go. It's kind of tough because I didn't read it this way before. Where are we? At the happiest time of year, all safe and secure in non-stop wonderment. Between Thanksgiving and New Year's, about 2 weeks after the Macy's Day Parade, all those floats are trucked down to Orlando, where they're set up around the New York street set up in Disney's Hollywood, now MGM Studios. And either the Disney folks or the sales guys had a great idea to have Randi Rhodes broadcast live from New York Street in the middle of the park during her Saturday show from like 8 to noon. I mean, why not? New York chick on New York Street with the Macy's Day Parade floats all around. Why not? What a great idea. Neither of them had apparently ever listened to her show. First of all, Randi didn't only frequently bite the hand that fed her, she shit into it afterward. In a world where laughter was king. Here's how it went down as I remember. We have to be there. Set up a table at 7:30 so we can go on the air at 8. And it's a cold day and the sun hasn't cleared the fog buildings, so we're in the shade in 60-degree weather with a stiff 15 mile per hour wind. Mile per wind. I think that sounds better. At 8 a.m. And already Randi isn't happy. We go on the air and we're the only ones there. On an empty street. In the back of the Hollywood Studios theme park. Rowan! Howard! 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 Echoes. Randi was known for Broward. The park isn't, Broward is a county in South Florida, by the way, for those that aren't in the know, for you Iowa whips. The park isn't even open for another hour. And we're in a closed, empty part of the park broadcasting live to no one on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And Randi starts being Randi, comically bitching about this and that, talking to callers about how cold and miserable, and yelling as loud as she can so you can hear the echo in the air. After an hour or so, when the park eventually opened, people eventually started making their way to the back of the place. Random parents pushing strollers, and Randi is talking about coffee farts and her boyfriend Jim Schlong and her nipples being hard from the whipping wind. Whipping wind. And there on the street is the Disney marketing folks who aren't happy. They apparently have never heard her show before, and the sales guys hadn't clued them in. They'd expected New York Randi having a warm homecoming feeling about being in New York for the holidays, and they got Queen Kong scaring the bejesus out of the children. So they talk to someone who talks to someone, and they have us turn down the monitors a little so the audio isn't so loud as to be in violation of Disney rules for crassness and obscenity. In a world where laughter was king. Well, that pushed Randi over the edge. She starts looking around at all the festive decorations adorning the fake New York skyline windows and starts complaining about how there are no menorahs in any of the goddamn windows. See? I told you there was a point to this. They got Jews in real New York. I don't see a one in this place. And that goes on for about 30 minutes. At one point, she threatened to make Disney's New York look a little more authentic by offering to take a dump on the sidewalk. Anyway. Come on, dude. You got 3 other stories to read. Oh, fuck. I gotta relight this. Where are we? Fuck. There ain't I don't see a 1 in this place. And that was that. They wanted to pull the plug on the show. I think I remember Boy Gary, the program director, Gary Bruce, that was his nickname, Boy Gary, getting involved in some kind of angry shouting discussion with the Disney marketing folks. I was too busy paying attention to what I had to with the show. And the result was that there were to be no monitors playing the show while we were live on the street. People would walk by and see a lady at a table with a headphone and mic on, but they couldn't hear a word she said. She couldn't talk to any passersby, only to the few callers who bothered to ring in, and she killed the time talking to me and Jim in relative radio silence within the confines of the Disney park. Not surprisingly, the next time when Rick and Suds and Phil Hendry were invited to do shows from the Magic Kingdom, Randi was left out of the promotion. Fun fact, the day that she quit WIOD, a few months after that was also the day she was supposed to be our guest speaker at my school. And then Kimba ended up being the guest speaker because she was invited by Mr. Gaynor, my instructor, Red Puddinhead, just to come and listen to Randi. And anyway, yeah, and that's when Randi left Miami. She was actually supposed to be our guest speaker the day that she quit, or the day before, or something like that. Yeah. Synchronicity. Stop with the fucking flirt. The what is this again? What is this? Lisp. The lisp flur. Stop with the lisp flur, sir. Nobody's ever said that before. Nobody's ever said that before. That's fucking brand new. Stop with the lisp flur. Stop with the lisp, sir. Sir. What? Something like that. I had it right the first time. They always take the first one, right? Yeah, always do. Especially when you pee. Oh, I haven't even talked about going to the ER on Monday. Thought I had kidney stones. Don't. But, man, fucking nurse and her fucking needlework. Awful. Jesus Christ. I've actually shot drugs into my veins. No, I didn't do it myself. I had a colonoscopy. Anyway, next story. Okay, this is a long one. I'm trying to do Adam's voice, but I can't because he's Jewish. Triple play here. 3 Neil promotional appearances stories. 3 Neil promotional appearance stories. When I first started WIOD, between the time I was an intern from University of Miami to the time I got to be a full-time producer, I was a promotions coordinator. The promotions coordinator's main responsibility is to drive the van filled with station crap to the appearances made by the air staff and set up so that when the host arrives, it's all set. All they need to do is sit down and meet and greet the listeners, sign autographs, and sip on a Snapple. And you had to plan ahead and think of absolutely everything they might need or want. Autograph cards, a stack of Sharpies, because inevitably some miscreant would walk off the pen because Neil had touched it. Entry forms, golf pencils, the entry form box, tables, chairs, bumper stickers, prizes, CDs, cassettes for sale, the cash box, enough petty cash to make change, a radio, the table skirts to dress it up, zip ties, scissors, copious amounts of duct tape, screwdrivers, wrenches, and on and on and on, and you had to be prepared to get it done by hook or by crook, I think you meant, Adam, if you were in need of something. Years later, when I was the promotions director, if I was going to hire a new coordinator, I'd bring in the 3 top candidates based on their resume and interview and give them a task like, here's your stuff. Set up the full promotional kit as if it were on location. And inevitably, I would purposely leave out something vital just to see if they'd figure a way around it, like the tape to hang panniers. What? Or the posts for the tents. Anyone who skipped whatever was missing didn't get the job. The kid who used 2 brooms in the closet to replace the 2 missing posts I'd left out to put up the tent, he got the job. But hold on. Beer. Suds. Coleman. Should I start back at Panniers? No. Where was I? Oh, but I digress. Where am I at on the video? Oh, fuck. I meant to put that back up. God damn it. Oh, 15 minutes left. You better hurry the fuck up, bitch. It doesn't have to be 1:30. Anyway, Where was I? Shit. But I digress. So, one of my first gigs ever for Neil was at this strip mall on US 1 south of Dadeland. Might have been a bookstore. Pizza Loft was delivering, so I needed extra tables and plates and drinks and a cooler, etc., etc. The van was supposed to have been always fully stocked with most of the regular things we'd need, but it was our job to also make sure it was in there. I need to scroll. So I get there 45 minutes before Neil was to show up. And this was my first appearance for him. So I double and triple checked all items I needed. Ugh, what the fuck, man? Cigarette? Damn, bitch. This is worse than almost any voiceover thing I've ever done. Oh, I didn't drink when I did voiceover. Or did I? In a world where beer was king for the moment. Oh, that sounded... Well, I'm talking about Adam, so we gotta have some suds. My radio dad. Anyway, I've told that story before. So I get there 45 minutes before Neil was to show up. And this was my first appearance for him. So I double and triple checked all the items I needed. I even had a checklist. I didn't want to make Neil or the station or myself look bad. Neil only basically knew me as that goofball intern who sat in the control room sorting index cards and ate free via deli. He seemed to like me. I loved being in the studio and watching him and George work. And being on Neil's good side was as glorious as it was hopeless if you were on his bad side. So Neil shows up. The place is dressed to the 6 and a halves. We didn't have nice enough stuff to be in the 9s category. And takes his spot. Sorry, I could have read that better. So Neil shows up. The place is dressed to the 6 and a halves. We didn't have nice enough stuff to be in the 9s category. And takes his spot. And he's making small talk with the listeners and shunning the chronics who are devouring the free food and signing autographs, and it's going pretty good. Fat Rich, a friend of his, shows up and God fucking cunt nab, damn it. What the fuck? Sorry. That was real. Getting a little pissed. That's never gonna fucking happen. It's gotta. Fuck you. That's new. I'm joking. Where are we? I'm not doing the 6.5 things again. Fat Rich showed up and sat with Neil. Fat Rich was a friend of Neil's. And it was like the Neil Rogers show on Saturday outside at a strip mall for 48 people. I could have done that better too. You're not on a clock. All right, let's do this again. Adam's words are better than what I'm doing, that I'm giving him. Where are we? Gotta go. It's really pissing me off my throat. Every 3 sentences is like, where the hell is that? Oh my God, I've got COPD. Might be a joke, but it's true. All right. I still just love that fucking... Being on Neil's good side was as glorious as it was hopeless if you were on his bad side. I fucking love that line. So Neil shows up. The place is dressed to the 6 and a halves. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do that. Takes his spot. And he's making small talk with listeners and shunning the chronics who are devouring the free food and signing autographs. It's going pretty good. Fat Rich shows up, sits with Neil, and it was like the Neil Rogers show on Saturday outside at a strip mall for 48 people. The guy is on when he is on. And about 45 minutes in, as I was standing off to the side sipping a Diet Coke and talking to chronics in between gophering for whatever Neil or the sales hole or the client needed, Neil calls for me. Hey, Adam. Yes, right here. What can I get you? We need more autograph cards. Stand by, on it, hold please. And run to the van, which is 300 degrees inside. And I'm tearing that place apart looking for them. And there are no autograph cards left. None. Zero. So I hand Neil a huge stack of paper plates and say, this is all that's in the van, sorry. Crickets. Neil is staring at me, eyes wide, mouth open. The corners of his mouth curl up in a smile of disbelief. The entire crowd of listeners and chronics are staring at me too, just waiting to see Neil let loose a verbal barrage of unmeasured proportions. And he says, these are not autograph cards, these are paper plates. The crowd, as if watching a tennis match, all pivot their gaze towards me. I don't. The crowd pivots back to Neil. They probably didn't teach you that at UM. I read that pretty good. Whew. I could hear Neil in my head. Next time you'll know. And that was it. He let me off the hook. Everyone went back to milling around, and Neil signed paper plates the rest of the appearance. And I'll bet there's fucking people that still have those fucking things, man. Oh my God, that is hilarious. Sorry. Whew. Ouch, that hurt. That's some funny shit. Where are we at? 120. It doesn't matter. 122. Oh God, so funny. All right, next one. After I'd been at that a while, I had it pretty... God, it's this fucking chair. I was looking at chairs at Staples today, by the way. I had to go get my fingerprints taken. I'm in trouble. And I'm calling out for help. Have I told you about patreon.com/winninginterest? No, it's just about the cannabis industry. You know, they want to fire me. No, they want to hire me. Again. Crazy bastards. I must be doing something right. This is a... What is this? Oh, this is that thing that helped you keep from not getting that thing for a couple of years. All right. So after I'd been at it a while, I had it pretty down to a science. I knew what I had to do, and enough time had passed that Neil knew me, knew I'd do whatever it took, and that I was okay to make fun of, and he could make shtick out of it, and I played along. I didn't mind at all. One time, at an appearance at the old pizza loft, after dragging all those tables and boxes of junk, valuable promotional prizes, and the boxes and boxes of Neil CDs and cassettes, t-shirts, and of course an unabridged encyclopedia-sized stack of autograph cards. Neil showed up, ordered me to put on a Neil t-shirt because I was so goddamn sweaty. He told me he was going to lose his appetite before Ponytail's food did. Ponytail was the owner. Jeff. God, my belly. I knew I should have had tea. Did you hear that? I did. I could have just taken a t-shirt if I'd wanted it, but it didn't feel right just taking a shirt that Neil and the station were selling to raise money for homeless people. But after he told me to, I put one on. If anyone says anything, tell them I paid for it, he said. But nobody will say anything. Let's go. And upstairs to the loft we went. If you'd ever been to that place, you know that it was small. An H-shaped place where each side was about as wide as two booths with just enough room to walk by sideways between them. So Neil was set up at the end of one side, and I took one booth off to the side of him and set up my stuff. And the line of listeners and chronics went out the hall, out the door, and down the stairs. And Neil is cracking jokes about me, and I start being a wise guy back. Now, I'm standing next to Neil, and we're doing this banner thing, and where he's a big shot guy, and I'm this subservient do-boy. Yes, sir, this, and no, sir, that, and an honor to serve, and all that, and he's talking to some lady, and they're talking about me and what I'd be worth on the black market, and all this. Oh, let me scroll down. Neil offers me the keys to his Corvette and what it would cost for a night with me and all that. I wasn't fazed at all. I'm not, nor have I ever been homophobic. I'm not interested in men. I'm a strict vegetarian, and who isn't flattered when people find you attractive, regardless of what you personally are into? But I digress again. So he's laying it on thick for the crowd, and Fat Rich is tittering in his chair. And I tell Neil, thinking I was all badass cool, that he can't afford me, and I don't take credit. He smiles, reaches his hand under the table. I'm thinking, what the fuck is he going to do? And he pulls out the hugest wad of cash I'd ever seen. I make $4.25 an hour. This is 1992-ish. Maximum 29 hours per week. If it hadn't been for the free food I got at Pizza Loft, I wasn't eating that night. And he's holding it wadded up in the palm of his hand. My eyes widen the size of cantaloupes, and the crowd is screaming and pointing at me now, and Neil is laughing his ass off. Fat Rich is still just tittering. So that night, I drove Neil home in his Corvette and relax. I'm fucking with you. It was a funny moment, and it ended right there. The event went on, and it was all just part of the rapport I was lucky enough to have with Neil. I packed up the van and left. A few months later, another host at the station asked me why I didn't file a sexual harassment lawsuit, that I could probably make a nice chunk of change. I flat out told him that part of it being harassed was the person that had to feel uncomfortable, and asked them to stop. I enjoyed the banter and the joking, and I think Neil did too. Fucking jokes. I was on a television show once, and I was barely dressed. All I had was a thing on me. I've told this story before too. I was basically naked on the set. I got smacked in the ass by somebody, and everybody laughed, and it was funny. I laughed too. I could have done the same fucking thing, and not be doing this goddamn podcast right now. But it was a joke. I got it. It didn't. You know what? No, that's what caused me to smoke this shit and hurt my belly. No. I'm fucking suing. Oh, did the statute of limitations run out? Shit. I'm fucked. Anyway, that's a funny one. I got two more? Or is this three more? Two more. As we get more and more sober. Just fucking chair. Oh, like I said, I was at Staples, and I was looking at new chairs. I was looking at chairs. Yeah. I think. This one sucks. For sure. And carbonation sucks too. But we'll keep going because we got shit to do, homeboy. Here we go. Because we got to keep that Jew thing going. They work really hard, right? That's what I heard. I don't know. Not being racist. That's just what I heard. Ding! Heard the same thing about the Irish. Who? They don't count. That's what I heard. That's what the Jews said. I'm just saying. So a last-minute event gets booked. A Neil appearance. At some event I'd never heard of. That Neil had never heard of. Sorry, I'm going to start over. God damn it, Wayne. It's a good thing we're not live. Maybe you should stop smoking. Maybe you should stop with the lip. Listen, that's a brain. Who's not Jewish. Jewish. Oh, that sounds even funnier with a lisp. So, a last-minute event gets booked. A Neil appearance. At some event I'd never heard of. That Neil had never heard of. Sold by blank Denneberg. A lot of people watching and listening to this are going to know the name. I'm just leaving it out to be nice because his name would never be Tom. In some park, way the fuck out there. A garlic festival? A garlic festival? What the fuck is that? Okay. Whatever, I pack my van, get the directions, and go up there. And when I arrive, the sky opens up and it rains a solid 3 inches in 4.5 minutes. This is South Florida. And our tent is like 500 yards inside the park. Thankfully, I got to park the van right next to it, unload, and drive it out of the park, and park it. When I got back to the tent, Neil is already there, and as I approach, he lowers his head between his shoulders and peers upward through his glasses and scowls. He's muddy from the sole of his feet to mid-calf, and anyone who ever met Neil can attest that the man did not wear socks, ever. He was strictly a slacks, dockers, loafers, no socks kind of guy. And he's a mess. And he's pissed. Why the fuck did that jackball little Tommy D send me here? I don't know, Neil. Do you have any idea what I am going to do to that little pencil neck asshole? I don't know, Neil. Why isn't this canceled? I don't know, Neil. I am going to refuse to fucking do anything that man wants to rope me into. That guy would probably try and sell me to sing Happy Goddamn Birthday at some client's kid's bar mitzvah for $1 if he could. Because if the torrential downpour, there was nobody there. I mean, M.T. After 15... I could have paused better there. If he could. Because of the torrential downpour, there was nobody there. I mean, empty. After 15 minutes, Neil says, fuck this, I'm not staying here covered in mud, surrounded by no one, getting eaten by bugs. If that asshole comes here, you know what I want you to tell him for me? I don't know, Neil. You tell him I said he was the world's biggest asshole, okay? Abso-fucking-lutely, Neil. And with his shoes in his hands and his pants rolled up, Neil walked out of the park and left. About a half hour later, Still, with nobody in the park besides me and a few festival workers, Tom showed up. Where's Neil? I don't know, Tom. Was he here? Yes, he's not happy. He's covered in mud to his knees and nobody's here. Do you know what he told me to tell you? I don't know, Adam. Do I want to know? Definitely not. Tom wasn't a bad guy. There was never any malice on his part. He was just doing his job, finding ways to sell the station. He didn't make it rain. He didn't keep people from showing up. He just sold the sponsorship and appearance. But Tom, who remarkably, did I say that right? Yeah, remarkably, looked and sounded like shit. He just sold the sponsorship and appearance. But Tom, who remarkably looked and sounded exactly like Droopy Dog, had a knack of having it rain shit all over him, wherever and whenever he forgot an umbrella. And on Monday morning, at 10:05:01 a.m., Tom Denenberg got verbally waterboarded. That was pretty good. All right, this one I didn't pre-read. I just set it up to where I could read it. Where am I at time-wise? God damn it, 1:36. All right, cool. I can pee again? Nah, I'm not going to do that. This is all right. This is all right. It's fun. See, what you get here, you get a bundle of, it's like a book or a diary. And this is kind of like a version of me doing my own, if I was reading something, doing a voiceover thing, but I'm actually reading one of my original coworkers' writings from the best fucking 2.5 years of my career I ever had. It was all at the beginning, kind of like, Skinner, Guns N' Roses, whatever, everybody. The Doors. How funny is it that a lot of people don't realize the Doors' fucking career was so motherfucking short. So incredibly short. They packed in a lot of stuff. That sounds growth. Listen, that's a brain. That's growth. What? When? Don't smoke them. If you got them. So I read that. That's the headline on this. So we got to do what they said, right? Or we got to go the other way. Right? Shh. Did I do everything over here? Did I show everything right? I showed all the pics, right? Yeah, we got. Wait, what's that? What is this? Hold on. Wait, oh, that's got to be the. All right, yeah, we got that. All right. I think we're cool. Whoever's still there. For the, this is like the time of, the hardcore fans, the people, the Skinner fans that know that Van Zandt was almost always, barefoot, or that AC/DC wanted fucking Leon for their bass player in the late 70s, or what was the thing about the Doors that Flash said the other day? God damn it. I was trying to put it all together. Didn't work. Not that time. It usually does. Maybe I'll think of it in a second. Better hurry up, motherfucker. You only got 25 minutes. Don't smoke them if you ain't got them. No, if you got them. When Rick and Suds were in afternoons, they had a fantastic show. I was their... No, I started as their backup when they were in the mornings, before they went back to afternoons. And then I was still their backup. I was still Adam's backup. He's talking before I was there. When Rick and Suds were in afternoons, they had a fantastic show. It was like daytime, late night with David Letterman. Sarcastic, self-deprecating host with Suds starring as Paul. Rick, a sarcastic, self-deprecating. No, he wasn't self-deprecating enough. With Suds starring as my dad, starring as my radio dad, starring as Paul Schaefer, adding color and making everyone, including the host, belly laugh with the utterance of a single word, and an endless supply of callers doing stupid human tricks. Some days I enjoyed their show more than even Neil's. I was a part-timer doing odd shifts. Oh, now he's describing my old days too. I was a part-timer doing odd shifts, overnights, promotions, etc. But even though legally I could work 29 hours per week, God damn, that's right, I didn't pre-read this one, I told you. Normally I do, but I was in a hurry. Stop at the left! Jewish and Italian and Spanish. No, the Spanish thing, it works. I was a part-timer doing odd shifts, overnights, promotions, etc. But even though legally I could work 29 hours per week, I'd spend over 40 there just to help out whenever and wherever I could. Me and the other part-timers were like stray cats. We got fed free food, won, and got a scratch behind the ears by these radio icons, and we didn't leave unless we were chased away. I remember that feeling. 6 months prior, I'd been in college, and I still couldn't believe I was working at a station with my idols on the radio. Neil, Rick and Suds, even Mike Ranieri, and Roger and Marvin and George. Roger and Marvin were the other producers. And Adam replaced Marvin. One of the days I was in there with no other purpose than to grab carts or get coffee or count T-shirts. I popped into the studio to wave at Rick and Suds and shoot the spit. Fuck your writing. I popped into the studio to wave at Rick and Suds and shoot the shit with Marvin. We could smoke in the control room. That's right. So it was like a coffee bar in there. Smokes, free coffee, a good conversation, and a live comedy show. And get mentioned on the radio. And ask Marvin for a smoke. He's only got 2. But Sud smokes. Oh, and I ask Marvin for a smoke. He's only got 2. But Sud smokes. I should ask if I could bum one from him. Marvin hits the talk back, which is the button to talk to the people in the studio. And I guess he's talking about being on the air. Is he talking about, are they on the air? Because there was a microphone, so the talk back, you wouldn't need to do the talk back because there was a mic. So this must be during a commercial break he's talking about. Yeah. I asked Marvin for a smoke. It's got to be during a commercial break because otherwise you would have hit the microphone. Marvin hits the talk back to ask Suds if I can bum a smoke. Suds always had his back to the control room, so I couldn't see his face, and Rick and Suds are laughing and talking and whatever. And they both stopped dead in whatever they were doing. And Suds turns around, eyes as wide as saucers, the way he did just before he launched one of his bazooka one-liners. Smiles and waves me in. I go in, take the smoke he hands me, say thanks, a little chit-chat. The commercials end, because it was during a break. The spots end, and I leave and head back to the control room. And I light up the cigarette. And it's burning weird. And tastes odd. Not so unusual that it alarmed me, but just enough to notice. Now, rewind the tape to about 10 minutes before I walked in. Apparently, Rick and Suds had a very interesting discussion on air about something that, to this day, I have no idea what it was about. But apparently the result was that during the discussion, for one reason or another, Suds had stuck a cigarette up one nostril. And that's the one he gave me. During the top of the hour newscast, Suds strolled out of the studio and wandered into the control room. He was smoking, and he offered me a cigarette. "Don't smoke that other one," he said. It was up my nose. "What? Oh, man. I already smoked it." Suds takes the smoke he'd brought me, stuck it up his nose, pulled it out, placed it on the counter, said, "Just in case you prefer it that way now." Turned his heel and moseyed on down the hall. I wish I had pre-read that. Sorry, I can redo it. I'll redo it. Just like it's supposed to be like a voiceover thing anyway. I blew it a long time ago, but still, I like to tighten it up. Oh, man. "Don't smoke that other one," he said. It was up my nose. "What? Oh, man, I already smoked it." Suds takes the smoke he'd brought me, stuck it up his nose, pulled it out, placed it on the counter, and said, "Just in case you prefer it that way now." Turned his heel and moseyed on down the hall. Anyway, it could be written better, too. Oh my God, he's a prima donna. He's trying to rewrite the copy. Oh my God. Wow, that sounded Jewish. It all goes together. Who's racist? I don't know. It's not the Gentiles, is it? Let's see, did I mention that? All right, so how much time I got left to get to 2 hours? Clean it up. Uno, cuatro. We might as well tell the Tanner Boyle story. Fuck it. Why cut it off now? I really hate that one. Whenever I go back and just look through the times of my stuff and look at all the whips and I hate it when it doesn't have a clean 1 hour, 1 hour 30 minutes, 2 hours, 2 hours 30 minutes, 3 hours. I hate that. I hate when it's not clean. Those ones always just, but they're awesome to watch or listen to. Anyway, we're gonna have more. There will be more Adam stories coming up. I'm waiting to get them. He said there's apparently a bunch where I'm actually mentioned. Isn't that sweet? Oh, why do you sound so Swedish? I don't know. It's one of the things I do. We're all over the place. So listen. Stop with the lisp. What was that lisp thing? What did I say before? Lisp. That was actually pretty funny. Not that I'm a genius or anything, but in a world where laughter was king. Go watch that fucking trailer. It's so funny. Comedian trailer. Jerry Seinfeld. Absolutely hilarious. Making fun of the whole voiceover thing. Kind of like these. Where was I? When? Now is Gomorrah. Yeah, I guess. All right, I've got a bunch of stories that I've been pushing. They're stuck there like I ate a whole bunch of iron and can't. Shit. No mo. Excuse me. Do we have a commercial? Ready for Dulcolax? No. I refuse. I eat a lot of carrots. So it's funny as it comes out going, man, it's a lot softer and where so pink. It's like I'm shitting famine. Anyway, let's get this last 10 minutes in with the story I've been putting off. What made me fucking think of this Tanner Boyle thing? There was something that spurred this. Yeah. I saw it at a, what is it? Jesus Christ. A thing after somebody dies, but it's been a while. A little gathering. I saw this dude that I hadn't seen since I was in Little League. And I was like, holy shit. And he reminded me of Little League, and I started remembering some stuff. And when I was in Little League, I mainly played shortstop or second base. And also, then as I got old, my last year of Little League, I was also a pitcher. You goddamn right. But early on, it was either my first or second season. And our team was the A's, and our fucking uniforms looked exactly like the Bad News Bears, almost exactly like the Bad News Bears, except for it didn't have the Bell Bonds logo on the back. Chico's Bail Bonds. But otherwise, our uniforms looked exactly like the Bad News Bears, and I was basically like Tanner Boyle, but a little more talented. I had a much better glove and a little bit of a better bat, but that's who I was on the field. And I can't remember. I swear to God that the umpire that I got fired up at, I swear he was the dad of the kid that was at second base that I slid under his legs and he never tagged me. I swear it was, which is why I really was like, what the fuck? I slid under your son's legs. He never tagged me and you're calling me out. You motherfucker. That's what it feels like. It might not be right. It might be, but it might not be right. It's a long time ago. What are we talking, 83, 84? So the story is, one of the things I loved to do was steal bases. I fucking loved stealing bases. Somehow I was on first, couldn't wait to steal second, and when I did, I was there clean, and literally went under the kid who was playing short, and it was funny because he was a lefty and he was playing short. He was there covering second. I slid clean under his legs and was on the bag. He never actually tagged me when he finally caught the ball. He never actually touched me. And I'm like, and I get up, dusting myself off, and I hear out. And I'm like, what? And I turn around. What are you talking about? You never touched me. What are you talking about? You're out. And I'm like, are you kidding? Is this serious? And I start fucking. Of course, it's one of the few games that my mom is in the stands. Right there. What are you fucking talking about? What was it? It was like 12, 10, 11, 12, 11 or 12. I just like Tanner, but instead of throwing his glove down and being chased by everybody, I literally fucking took my helmet off. Fucking basically, not basically, I did. I drop kicked it. I just fucking threw it down and kicked it. And as soon as it hit the ground, I kicked it and it went, what? And I started screaming, this is bullshit. Of course, they threw me out of the game. And of course, story of my life, right? I'm right. I'm fucking right. Never tagged me. I actually went to him and went, "You didn't touch me, did you?" "No, I never tagged you." See? I got the proof. I was right. Oh, your temper. The temper is deserved in a fucking moment where everybody can see that, wait, how is he out when he didn't get tagged? It was like, man, I wish they had instant replay for Little League back then. And the kids in Little League now, so awesome to watch. Holy shit, they're so fucking good. It's insane. That's the most fun baseball to watch now is Little League World Series. Those kids are so fucking awesome to watch. But like, what are you talking about? Story of my life. See, but nobody. But just there was that dude. You're out. Just because you're there to say you're out, it doesn't mean you're right. One person thinks you're out. Not even the dude that was standing in front of you that was actually playing the game thought I was out. But it was my temper. That's the problem. No, you're supposed to fucking stand up and do that. That's why we're in such a toilet of a world at this point, because there haven't been enough tantrums. They've been taking the tantrums and turning them around and making them look like the dickheads. Remember at the beginning of that thing called and they were making out all the people that were saying, "Fuck this bullshit," out to be the bad guys. Turned out they were the right ones. Always gotta wait, sit back, gotta wait. Don't jump on that train to where if the fucking TV's saying, "These people are bad," well, you already know if it's the TV saying it. Bunch of fucking, ugh. Oh my God. Ooh, I squeezed it in. Tanner Boyle right here. I should have worn my old A's jersey, but I don't have it. Oh, the funniest thing was most of the time I played second base and I had the number. It was synchronicities. Seriously. I wore number 15 at the start. Yeah, I wore number 15, I think. Yeah, number 15. And I played second base and I played for the A's. And almost at that same time, Davey Lopes was playing second base for the A's and he was number 15. It was a trip. It was a moment in time. I had a fucking deja vu at the bar before Flash made me come up there. And one of the people at the bar, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm having a deja vu." And she's like, "Huh?" That wasn't cool. I'd have been like, "Really? Oh, that's awesome. I fucking love deja vus. They don't happen enough." Oh yeah, she was in her 20s. That's what you usually get. Holy shit. Doing my best to keep my daughter from that, but I don't have the power. I do, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know what that means. I'm just making shit up. I'm just worried. What the fuck? You know how everybody's fucking screaming about service now? So everyone, it's fucked up. It's all fucked up. How much time we got? In a world where laughter was king. It's all fucked up. It all worked out. Yeah. I'm going to pre-read the other stories, and I can't wait. I bet you can't wait also for the upcoming Adam stories that involve the weenus. You know, I've mentioned many stories of Adam, so he better start mentioning stories of me. Unless he wants a fucking Tanner Boyle coming down to South Florida and saying, "What's up, Jew? The WAP is here to fuck with you." Oh, it all comes clean. It's true. Man, it's just like fucking Godfather 2. It's all about the WAPs and the Jews. I'm rhyming. Fucking rapper bastard. That's what I am. I'm a fucking rapper. Anyway, go find James Corbett Report. Jimmy Dore Show, Russell Brand, Kim Iverson, Glenn Greenwald, Revolutionary Blackout Network. But look for yourself. I'm just a fun babbling lecturer or dabbler. Remember, Raul Neo, a.k.a. One, Sarvan Long, Had a Bum comedian, Chris Baker. Thanks, Gary. Daddy loves you.
Messing with my peebles.
Is everybody in?